Welcome to MuscleBox Radio. I'm your host Stephen Box and my co-host is Michael Harrison. This show is going to be all about nutrition, training, bodybuilding with loads of banter. We're going to be giving you the evidence, the science and breaking that down with the help of some amazing guests and industry leaders to give you that application. So make sure you subscribe and I hope you enjoy the show. Hi Mike, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Great, I'm good. So this is our first ever episode of MuscleBox Radio.
It is.
You excited?
Oh, God, off the chart.
Mate, I'm pumped. I'm not physically, as you can see. You know, I'm still pretty small right now, but...
Yeah, pathetic, some might say.
Oh, mate, give me time, all right? 10 years. I might actually look like I've got a bicep one day.
One day. There's always a dream.
Yeah, man. So, anyway, I suppose, yeah, just to kick off this show, really, what's this radio show going to all be about?
So it's going to be a look at evidence-inspired nutrition and training advice, which is less about mindset, more about biceps, a lot of banter, some great hosts, and yeah, a bit of fun.
Yeah, we do have some awesome guests lined up. We won't reveal them just yet, but we'll do some teasers over on our Facebook page over the next sort of coming weeks as to when they'll be on, what they'll be speaking about, yeah, and just kind of, and when we can expect those guys to be coming on with, and maybe get some questions for those guests as well.
Sure.
Yeah, that'll be nice. So our Facebook page is Team-Box UK. Go give us a like. We normally post out some videos, and this podcast will be going out live every Friday, won't it, on YouTube and iTunes?
Yeah, YouTube and iTunes, and then the show notes will be available. So all the links, everything we've spoke about during the show is going to be available on a Monday through a daily email, which you can sign up on our website, and that's a free opt-in. And you'll also receive some daily hints and tips from myself.
And the ebook.
Yeah, and an ebook, free ebook.
Yeah, so that was the ebook that I put together called "Have Your Cake and Eat It." And that was also my Toolkit Body Power, which was a couple of weeks ago, which is all about kind of flexible dieting, really. But it's your kind of, I suppose, beginner's guide, isn't it, to flexible dieting? But it does go into some of the science behind metabolism, macronutrients, and actually how you would set up your own sort of flexible dieting, or if it fits your macros approach for yourself, really. So that's kind of what it's all about. And then you get Mike daily emails just to keep you entertained, and he might drop some sort of reasonable information now and again.
Now and again.
It is like sifting through shit, but...
Well, somebody increased their deadlift by 10 kilos last week just by reading an email. So if that's not coaching, I don't know what is.
Mate, it's placebo.
Okay, right.
But mate, the
advice was listen to NSYNC. So
that's been proven to work in most studies. Placebo, yeah. Mate.
It has. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Steve, about how you got into the industry. Obviously, there's going to be a fair few people who know who you are, but less so about me, but go for it.
Right, well, I suppose I got into the industry originally because I kind of was doing a lot of fashion modelling. And that was, cheeky. And I suppose for me, I was doing my degree at Bath. I did that in sport performance, and that was where my interest started in nutrition. That was definitely my favourite topic area on my degree, and also biomechanics and strength and conditioning. So at the time, I was playing volleyball, and I was dog shit. I mean, I had good, I played at a high level, but unfortunately, my genetics weren't there to take me to the level I wanted to. So I kind of fell out of love with volleyball, and then ultimately people started asking to take my picture, which was a bit strange, and kind of got into modelling, found some good agencies. They supported me really, really well and landed some pretty good jobs. But at the time I was kind of like I would say a fit fashion model. Like I was in good shape, but I wasn't like massive. I mean, I'm not massive now, but I certainly wasn't as big as I am now either. And this was kind of even before fitness modeling was a thing. People didn't really do photo shoots for the hell of it. They only did really photo shoots if they were being paid. And that kind of led me to shoot with a lot of the great photographers who are out there now. And we were kind of, I I suppose, it would have helped that movement of fitness modeling. So yeah, that was kind of how I got into that really. And then I sort of I really became passionate about that. Did some more courses, increased my CPD in terms of nutrition coaching, and then I've kind of been coaching ever since online for, competition athletes mainly now, but before that, for kind of fat loss, muscle gain, throughout my whole time of competing as well, like over the years.
Have you won anything of note?
Oh, well, so 2012, I won Mr. Great Britain. And then 2013, I then competed at Fit Factor and came second there at Body Power. It was not bad.
Which is great, yeah, considering how many people enter Fit Factor.
Yeah, that year there was 75, so it's quite a
it's
tough
not quite there, I suppose.
Yeah, and then 2014 I competed at the WBFF in South Africa, and again that was 50 people in that, and I came 7th. So again, I was really pleased with that, because not only because of the conditioning that I brought in, but it was a very, very tough lineup.
Sure.
And then last year I won the UK BFF Fitness Model Championships in October, and then went on to compete at the Amateur Olympia, and I came 5th there, and that was at the Liverpool IFBB, so that was pretty sweet. Again, in fitness modelling, yeah, so kind of my whole competitive career has been in fitness modelling, but this year I'm stepping up to the physique class, so a little bit different for me, something you might know a little bit more about now.
Yeah, only slightly. Obviously, if people aren't aware, we're going to be competing at the same show alongside the other 3 Team Box coaches. So we're all going to be entering the UK BFF Welsh. And the 4 guys are doing physique shows, but 2 in each category. So that it goes on height classes, I think height or weight.
Yeah.
And Laura in the bikini.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I thought Dan was going in the bikini class.
Oh yeah, Dan is, yeah. But
sorry, Dan.
Sorry, mate.
This will go live and he'll be like, "You twats."
Yeah, there we go. X-rated there, R-rated, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Twats. That's down. So a little bit about me. So like yourself, I came from a sporting background, but I never sort of went into it. I'm obviously quite old now. I'm 28, so I'm relatively new to the games, coaching, so to speak. Mainly because I was sort of pushed from the wrong people into the wrong things from school. So at school, I was all about sport. I was football team. I ran cross country for the county. I was in a basketball team. I was in a rugby team.
All the teams.
And I wanted to be...
Were you one of those guys everyone hated at school?
Yeah, but nothing to do with being in the teams, though. Because I'm a prick, I think. I think that's why people didn't like me.
Did you have a shit beard back then?
No, that's only recently come on, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah, true.
But, yeah, so I was always into sport, and I wanted to do something like physiotherapy, but I ended up getting pushed into doing dentistry. But then I didn't want to do dentistry, so I went into the RAF, and I wanted to be a PTI, a personal trainer in the RAF, but again, when I went for the tests, they pushed me into something else, so I ended up being an aircraft engineer for 9 years, and I fucking hated it. So whilst I was doing my engineering, I started doing something I enjoyed. I started my sports and exercise science degree with Manchester University. I got qualified as a performance nutritionist, qualified as a personal trainer, all that shit.
Tick all those boxes.
Tick all those boxes, and then obviously began to coach a few people whilst still having my job in the RAF, and then I made the transition last year into full-time coaching. I set up my own business, and then later joined up with the rest of the Team Box coaches and made one super team.
Yeah, so Team Box,
the Avengers.
Yeah, we're basically like the Avengers of the fitness industry, I think.
I think that's pretty good description. So yeah, then last year was my first year competing. It was not something that I'd ever thought I was going to do, but I thought it's going to help me in terms of my empathy for clients, experience for if I get comp prep clients myself. So I decided to do it, and I actually really enjoyed it. I came second in the physique class in my first show,
That was like a regionals, wasn't it? Like a qualifier?
Yeah, that was the Southeast regionals. So there was a fair few people there. Obviously, not as many as yourself, but a decent amount. And there was 10 qualifiers, and the top three went through to the finals. So I obviously qualified for the finals. And out of all those people, I ended up coming in fifth, like yourself. And yeah, was reasonably happy. I think everybody seems to think that they can do a little bit better. But looking back, my first year, it weren't too bad. So on to the next one.
Yeah, so Team Box, we'll kind of just give you a little intro into that. I'm sure we'll get the other coaches on at some stage, won't we? So we've got Daniel Meek. He is someone I've worked alongside for a very long time. And he has a podcast called Push Pull Legs. So if you're familiar with that, that's one of the numpties on there. No, again, a fantastic coach. He's got a master's degree in strength and conditioning, worked with professional football teams, so he certainly knows his shit when it comes to performance and nutrition, S&C. Then we've got Chris Emmett. He did the exact same university course as I did at Bath, and again, a very, very good coach. He's our kind of like guy who really is interested in strength conditioning, isn't he? I suppose. So his squat, deadlift, bench presses are pretty impressive.
He's all the compounds, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's our go-to guy when it comes to sort of that sort of thing. And then we've got Laura Baker, who is a baker.
Yeah.
And is
good one.
Yeah, she's kind of most famous for her fitness Girl Gains blog.
Well, that and her selfies with a quiff or
strong quiff game.
Recently, a baseball cap, which is a change.
Yeah.
I think Dan should take up the baseball cap route to cover that
shit lid.
Yeah, that balding lid.
Yeah, man. But so Team Box, we are an evidence-inspired online coaching company. We deal with everyone who is looking for contest prep, down to people who just want to get shredded for the summer. So we kind of work with quite a broad range of people, but they all kind of have the same goal. They either want to build muscle, get leaner. We all follow flexible dieting, and that's kind of the approach that we take. So it's a more kind of quantitative approach to nutrition, looking at the data, looking at energy expenditure, looking at energy intake, and then, focusing on macronutrients when that's appropriate for their goals, with weekly implementations. And we kind of pride ourselves, I suppose, on having a premium service, don't we?
Yeah, sure. I think we're a bit of a bridge between the gap of those coaches who are pure bro and those coaches who perhaps don't get as much results maybe and maybe focus on things that aren't quite as important.
So here's a question for you then, Mike. What is bro science?
Bro science would be basically going up to the biggest guy in the gym more often than not and listening to everything he says. So that would be something probably that's been handed down from generation to generation, like hearsay. Big Dave does this, so that's gospel. You've got to get your 4 a.m. cardio on. You've got to do it fasted.
Yeah.
You've got to go low carb. You've got to fucking regulate insulin and all that bullshit. And I've been there, and I think we all have. I think the beauty of what we do, and now that we look at the science, is that we can evolve, and we're not scared to change our opinion. Yeah. I've been there. I've done keto. I've done fucking backloading. I've done carb cycling.
Paleo.
I've done paleo. Yeah. I've done everything. I've done everything.
But that's good. I think actually that there's nothing wrong with evolving, and that's really, really important. I think if I'm saying the same shit I'm saying this year, next year, then I haven't learned anything. Yeah. I don't think the concepts or principles would change that much, but some of the finer details might change. But as we know, that practice and that kind of bro science does actually have to lead the science and the evidence. So, I think we can kind of, in the next half of the podcast, we'll take a quick break. In the next half, we can talk a little bit more about what is an evidence-based approach, talking about the application, the individual, and the science, and where they kind of come together. And then we can sort of talk about a little bit more of the structure of the show. So we'll take a break there, guys. So join us in the second half. Hi, back from the break. So, just want to take this quick opportunity to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, which are MuscleFood. We can't be proud enough to have those as a sponsor and collaboration at the moment, and there could be more sponsors coming soon. So, MuscleFood for us are a fantastic company. I've seen them grow over the years to what they are now, and it's fantastic to see that. For us, they're everything that we kind of, we advocate, aren't they? They have a great variety of food. They put food first, but also they aren't afraid to have some tasty little treats in there. So, and as you can tell from my ebook, Have Your Cake and Eat It, it's, we're not just like your typical clean eaters which just do chicken, broccoli and rice. We like to keep it, mix it up, and we can maybe go into why we like flexible dieting shortly on the show. But yeah.
Yeah, sure. MuscleFood is fantastic. We've been using it ourselves for years, and it's nice to sort of have a link with those guys now, because like you said, we're very much in the opinion of the best diet is the one that you can stick to, and if it tastes good, if it's good food, you're tracking what you're eating. Obviously, MuscleFood lists all its macros and things like that.
What's your favourite food off MuscleFood?
Oh, do you know what? There's so much. Like, you
can only go for one.
I'm all about the volume.
Yeah.
I'm all about the volume. So I like to keep things low carb, low fat, because then it allows me to eat more volume, because I know obviously how much I'm tracking. So, all the fucking shit that comes with going so low fat doesn't happen, because I know I've got baseline amount of fat in.
Yeah.
So I would say the venison burgers or the zebra burgers, because they're a lot lower fat than beef burgers. They taste bloody good, and they're awesome.
Nice.
Right.
Mate, for me it's pizza.
Pizza. See, I'm such a macro Scrooge. Like, I know that those macros are awesome. I think it's like 70 grams of protein, 30 grams of carbs and 20 grams of fat. That's great for a pizza, right? But I still can't warrant that amount of calories.
Yeah, that's because you're dieting right now, right?
Yeah, definitely when I'm dieting, I'm like that. I'm definitely not like that when I'm in an off season, which has resulted obviously in me gaining over 20 kilos.
But that's the great thing about it, is that throughout we're 14 weeks away, and we're both at the point now where we're being quite assertive with our diet. Or with our calories, basically, just so that we can hopefully come in that little bit earlier. Now, that obviously has some merit, but ultimately, MuscleFood have got those options, right? You just flexing your pecs, mate.
Oh, God, yeah, trying.
Remember, this is a listener show as well, so, maybe we need, commentary.
Yeah, we could do, couldn't we?
Just flexing my left pec, now my right, But it's actually good to see you've actually got some chest activation, mate, which is surprising.
It is surprising.
Even though you've got such a small, weak chest.
Well, you've never seen that happen with breasts before, have you?
No.
Look at that.
That's new. Anyway, so where do we get to? Anyway, so we introduce a little bit about... Let's talk about evidence-based. It seems to be it's quite a popular thing now in the industry, which is fantastic, because obviously we're getting away from the sort of dogmas, I think every... guru out there has kind of a dogma which is an extreme, and we kind of like to be somewhere in the middle. But for us, it's all about, let's take as much science as we possibly can and the evidence that we know and apply that to a context, but then also take into consideration our experience with working with ourselves and working with clients, and then matching those two to the individual so it makes sure it works for them. And that's those 3 points are, I think, really, really important. And I'm sure that throughout this show, we'll be mainly talking, perhaps from an individual perspective, or maybe a little bit more from experience, or, we might just be talking, this is what the research says. And that'll be really, really great discussions, because a lot of the time, we kind of might joke about bro science, but actually bro science is what leads the research. Because if people aren't in the field doing it, then researchers or scientists aren't going to look at that and go, well, why are they doing that? Why is Arnold Schwarzenegger doing this, or whatever it might be? Because that's why the studies now have been done, fasted cardio that you mentioned earlier versus fed cardio, which is better for fat loss. So without people actually deciding, oh, do you know what, I think fasted cardio is best, people would never know to even test that.
Yeah, they're creating the hypothesis really.
Yeah.
So they're coming up with what they've thought for however long, and now science is testing it.
Yeah, I think, but then the important thing is to go, great, we've got this hypothesis or this practice, which you may have been doing, but then until the science comes out, and it might prove that to be ineffective, or it might prove it to be very effective, you can then make some considerations based on that. But obviously, throughout this whole time, with whatever you do, nutrition and training, it has to be sustainable. And for it to be sustainable, you've got to be able to adhere to it for a long time. You've got to be bloody consistent. And for those two to occur, you've got to enjoy what you're doing. So that's really important as well. Even if there's a little bit of placebo sometimes can actually be quite useful to keep you on track and, making progress. And that's really important as well.
I think so. I think taking a balanced approach, like you said, people seem to be stuck with their own dogmatisms, and they get married to an idea so easily, and it then becomes a religion, and almost sort of everything else is wrong and their way is right. And whereas in reality, is that going to be right for everybody? Not really, because everybody's got different schedules, everybody's got different preferences,
goals, journeys.
Yeah, you can't take one protocol and spread that and expect everybody to get on well with it.
Yeah.
It's about having that balanced approach and like you say, having that good fusion between the what the science says, the application for the person, and yes, something might not be optimal, scientifically speaking. But if it's optimal for the person and that's how they enjoy it, like for example, if you look at some of the studies which would suggest that training a body part twice weekly is more optimal than once weekly, but that person only wants to train maybe 3 or 4 times a week, and they enjoy going and hitting one body part at a time, and that's what they feel better for, then they're obviously going to attack that session greater than if there was something they wouldn't want to do. So
exactly.
There's a fine line, but hopefully we're going to start to break down a few of those for everybody.
Yeah, and this is hopefully where we can get the guests on, because they're probably doing the research, or they might have greater experience, and they can break that down into say, look, yeah, this might be what the science would say, but do you know what, I would still do this, because I'm sure and hopefully that our kind of crowd of listeners are young guys and girls who want to get in great shape, and they've got a long lifting career ahead of them, and ultimately they want to just keep making progress. So if this podcast can help people do that, then we want to be able to we are that little bit more performance than just kind of about being fluffy, happy clappy mindset stuff. We are about let's see some let's see those numbers go up on the scales when we're looking for weight gain. Let's see those numbers go up when we're looking for improving our lifts, getting stronger. And then obviously when it comes to dialing it in, being able to go the way, have the capacity, and ultimately get shredded in whatever you want to do with that, whether it's compete or just do a photo shoot or but those practices, I think we'll probably talk about competing quite a lot, as it's something that me and you do quite a lot, obviously, but that journey's still the same, just a little bit more extreme, even if you just wanted to lose 5 kilos for a holiday.
Yeah, weight loss is weight loss.
You just don't go as far, do you?
Yeah, and that's it. There's nothing special. There's nothing. This is the diet plan that a bodybuilder follows. This is a diet plan that 50-year-old Gina follows.
Yeah,
it's weight loss is weight loss. It's calories in, calories out, and that's it. The only difference is, like you said, the bodybuilder, the physique athlete, the photo shoot client has done it for longer. Has done it for a longer period of time. And that's it. It's as simple as that.
And one of the things that I kept talking about at my body power talks, especially on the one where I spoke about why dieting sucks and weight loss expectations, is the fact that with every diet that you go on, you want to be retaining as much muscle as possible. I think, having muscle mass, weight training is kind of like the elixir of life. So the more you can retain, the better. So hopefully some of the applications, techniques we'll be talking about over the next coming shows, we can talk about, I think it'll be great to talk about biochemistry, thermodynamics, because that kind of underpins nutrition. We can then talk about the macronutrients. We can then start looking at training for hypertrophy. So how do you gain muscle? What's the best frequency to train at? Is it a bro split? Is it a full body workout? We can start tackling those questions. So if you do have any questions for the podcast, we are going to have a little feature on the show at the end, which is going to be the listener question. We'll give you a shout out on, Facebook as well for, putting your question in if you want. But if you want to keep it completely anonymous, that's also cool. Just let us know in the email whatever your question is. And you need to email info@team-box.co.uk. We'll put the links to this again in the show notes and on the Facebook page. So if you do have any questions you want me and Mike to tackle, please get it on there. And then also we might actually save some of the better ones for our super duper guests. Because they just might be they probably will be a lot better to answer those questions than you and me.
Yeah. Please do get your questions in, because it's going to be embarrassing if we're answering questions that our mother has asked us every week, because they're our only listeners. So yeah, please get them in, and then we can get a better understanding of what people want to know, and maybe put to bed some of those myths that you've heard kicking about the gym.
Nice. So let's talk a little bit about, we spoke about kind of bro science, we spoke about evidence-based approach. Why do we like flexible dieting so much? What is flexible dieting anyway?
So flexible dieting has got a bit of a bad rap sometimes by the clean eaters and the paleo guys and things like that, because I think when people tend to do flexible dieting, they only post the photos of their awesome food. So their pizza or their Pop-Tart or whatever the fuck they're eating. Now that in itself just gives a picture to somebody who perhaps doesn't know as much of this guy's eating pizza and he's got abs. But what it doesn't show you is that the other 95% of his food is absolutely bang on. His training is really good. And he doesn't give a whole picture. So flexible dieting really isn't that. And the way that we approach it is that at Team Box, obviously, we aim for about a 70 to 80% single ingredient. Sort of your food sources should come, obviously from something that's lived. So animal products,
whole foods,
general bro clean foods. Yeah, because it's great. It's full of vitamins, minerals, everything to optimize health and keep you disease-free and have you feeling good, training good, and all those things.
So you're just general nourishment, isn't it, really?
And then we have, 20 to 30% where, we have mixed ingredient foods at, 10 to 20%. So that might be things like, pastas or
nut butters,
things like that. And then 10%, whatever you want. So let's say, for example, you're eating 3,000 calories. 10% of that would be 300 calories. So we would allow, obviously within the constraints of the macros set, allow 300 calories on, let's say, a Mars bar.
Yeah. Strong choice.
It is a strong choice.
Yeah.
And when you diet like that, it really doesn't feel like dieting. I've actually written an email on the same thing. You see so many people miserable with dieting. So many people, I hate dieting. I hate this. I hate having to eat chicken and broccoli out of Tupperware. I hate this. I can't do this so much longer.
Yeah.
But when you're eating, like tonight, I'm going to be having burger and chips for tea.
No.
Doesn't feel like a diet.
Well, that's it. Last night I went out. It was one of my friends' graduation meals. I went out to this Argentinian steak restaurant. I had this really nice fillet steak.
Fillet? Someone's doing all right for themselves.
Cheeky. And then I had like sweet potato with that, kind of like fried with chips, and then some greens as well on the side. I could, with a Diet Coke, great. I can go to those social occasions, fit it in within my calorie allowance, and ultimately, wake up the next day. I was looking pretty on point to that this morning. So yeah, I don't fear food. I'm not in that position where, I'm just eating junk food the whole time. I'm getting enough nourishment in from those single ingredient whole foods, which are just foods that you can look at and you know what they are. Like an avocado, like a piece of rump steak, like shrimps or whatever, And then obviously you've got like you said, that 10% where it just helps you bulk out your meals. So that's like where those pastas, the breads can, the mixed ingredient foods come in. But I, again, go back to the body power talk, for the typical clean eaters who just eat chicken, broccoli and rice or whatever variants of kind of around that. You never know, they might even have white fish if they're really feeling spicy. But then they have a 3,000 calorie pizza at the weekend. and all they do is obsess about that one meal, that cheat meal. And that's all they think about. And ultimately, they feel sick, they end up thinking, oh, well, or they might overeat again, and they might think, well, fuck it, I'll just have the ice cream as well on top of that and just have a real blowout moment. And that could come up to, let's say, 3,500 calories. And they're going to resent themselves after because they've just eaten so much food there. You know, obviously there is that kind of, you are focused on your appearance. So when you do start to hold a lot more water or bloated, you know, you might make some, you know, inappropriate decisions based on your next dieting phase. So they restrict themselves really harsh in the week, have a complete blowout, and obsess about that blowout all week, changing their mind what they're going to have. But what they could have just done was, if they roughly have a 3,500 calorie cheat meal once a week, well, they could have just had 500 calories every day, as in when they fancied it. So if they're going to cinema on a Wednesday for 2 for 1 and they want to get a bit of popcorn in, what's that, a couple of hundred calories? You could then even have a little bit of Ben and Jerry's ice cream while you're at the cinema with a Diet Coke. You know, it's just things that, you know, if you've got to go to a funeral, you can eat the buffet food and not stress about it. You can go to a wedding, toast the bride and groom, and not feel that, you know, you have to whack out your Tupperware and stink out the place with your white fish.
Yeah.
So it's just having that flexible approach. There's no real concern of kind of like, you got to eat at this time, you got to eat then, you can't eat at that point. You've got to get your post-workout protein shake in, or your muscles are going to fall off. No, it might be perhaps advisable to get a protein source in post-workout, but it's not an essential. And that's the focus I think that we have as well, is let's understand the real basics. And then once you've mastered that, then you can kind of progress into looking at more refined approaches to kind of optimize what you're doing. And then ultimately, when you might go into a calorie deficit to diet, some of those factors may change, or the importance of those things might differ a little bit to when you're in your off season. But again, we can talk about this over the next coming shows. So I think we'll leave it there, Mike. That's a good 30-minute episode. Good introduction. And so make sure you like and subscribe. Any comments on YouTube, leave them below. Please give us a review on iTunes. It would really help us become one of the number one. That's what we're going for, isn't it, Mike? We're not fucking about.
Number one spot.
We're number one spot. Here we come.
We're straight there.
Straight there.
We're going to be the Beyonce of the podcast world.
Ooh, like a diva.
Yeah.
I do like the Avengers of the fitness industry, though, mate. That's nice.
It is not. Yeah. Who are you? Which one are you?
Captain America.
Is there a fat one? Is there a fat hairy one? Thor's got long hair.
Yeah, but I think that's Chris, mate. Dan's definitely Iron Man because he's.
Dan's Wonder Woman. Is she in the Avengers?
No, mate, that's DC. That's like Superman and Batman.
I'm not comic. I'm not comic.
Right, so you've got Marvel, which is the Avengers, then you've got DC. They're like kind of chalk and cheese.
Yeah, I know Batman's DC and Superman's Marvel, yeah.
Well, we need to have this discussion off air because now you're looking like an idiot.
Oh, fuck. I got half an hour and I didn't fuck up once, and now I've just ruined it.
Mate, back to the drawing board for you.
Oh, motherfucker. I'll be the Hulk. He's in there. He's in the Avengers. That's me. Bulk.
Yeah, I think that's probably about right, yeah.
Yeah, the not so credible Bulk.
Yeah. Right, we'll leave it there, Mike. So, guys, leave us a review and see you next week.
Bye.